Welcome to this presentation from Project Norge. Today we are presenting DigiBuild using data integration platforms, and the presenter is Renate Kratochvil. And everyone joining in this presentation will not be in the video unless you ask questions at the end, and it is possible to do so. But then I give the word to you, Renate. Go ahead.
Can you see my slides?
Yes, we do.
Good. So hello, my name is Renate, and I'm having this presentation on using data integration platforms. And my collaborator in this topic is Ragnhild Kvalshagen, who is also in the meeting today. We're both from the Center for Construction Industry at BI Norwegian Business School. So thank you for taking the time to listen to the presentation. I don't know how you usually do it, but if you have any questions or something is unclear, please just tell me via microphone or chat or so, because maybe some things might feel very technical or not so technical and you might need more information. A little bit on my background. So I'm a researcher in management and strategy. So we're presenting something a little bit technical today, but more from a perspective of an organization's processes and practices. This is also what my research is about. Currently, I'm a postdoctoral researcher in DigiBuild, which is also in collaboration with Bakke Entrepreneur and the Research Council of Norway, who is funding the research project. A little bit on my background. So I have conducted my PhD, so my doctoral studies in Vienna at the Vienna University of Business and Economics in international business and strategy. And starting from there, I look at the role of managers in strategic processes like diagnosing problems, finding solutions, making decisions and capturing opportunities, especially in entrepreneurial settings. This is also what we do in the DigiBuild project. We see digitalization as a huge opportunity, and then we try to see what's possible to do, especially in the construction industry. And in this context, I'm also interested in collaboration within companies and organizations and across organizations. And as, for example, in the DigiBuild, there is a researcher practitioner collaboration, which I'm also following. And because I've mentioned DigiBuild to you already, I don't know how much you know about it or not. It's a 3-year project funded by the Norwegian Research Council. It's a collaboration between Bakke Entrepreneur, Lean Communications, Sintef Digital, so the digital department, and BI Norwegian Business School. As I told you before, there's Ragnhild, Ragnvald, and me at the Department of Strategy and Entrepreneurship in the Center for Construction Industry. What we're doing is to explore the opportunities for a fully digital construction process, meaning that we try to see what is possible in terms of where digitalization can be used. And we look at this especially relating to the creation and development and use of platforms, big data, AI, and machine learning. And also we explore how you can build a foundation to move from analog to digital. And one example that we have been looking at is the using and integrating of data produced on construction sites and using a data integration platform. And this is what I'm going to talk about today. And there is also a blog post on this topic on Bygg.no with Ragnhild, Maria, and Graham from Sesam. I have a link later in the slide, so in case you want to read about it instead of listening or next to listening, you can also read that blog post. And shortly, what is my role in the DigiBuild project? As I said, I'm a postdoc researcher, and my role is to follow the process and the activities and everything that's happening in the DigiBuild. So what's today's agenda? I want to shortly tell you a little bit about the data that are produced on the construction sites. then how you can use or why integrating data in a platform might be useful, especially for companies in the construction industry, and what are the challenges and benefits of using such a platform from a management perspective. So not so much from a technical perspective, because I'm pretty sure there's also some challenges and benefits to it, but we're more looking into how do people deal with it and how can it be used. Okay, so we start from the assumption or from the observation that each building project generates a lot of data. So some say there is like a huge mine of data that is produced. And you can think about the simplest things like every material has a price, and this is somewhere stored in an Excel sheet, in a PDF, in an email maybe. Also, you might track the delivery time of material in terms of like you had an email that you wrote to somebody 2 days ago about please send me something, and then it came back 2 days ago, and you again have an email that says it's delivered now. But so you have some data that tracks the delivery time of material. Also how long it takes you to implement the material that you have been that you ordered, the hours that subcontractors use, the money that subcontractors use, what they bill you, also information on mistakes and errors. So there's lots of data that is produced in a very unstructured way, and it is often stored and produced within different software and systems. So there's, for example, BIM and SAP, but like lots of other systems that will just pop into your heads, I guess, at the moment, where data is produced. And often there is data produced that you don't even know about or that you don't think could be useful to you. The big issue here is that this data is distributed and stored in commonly easy shareable files. So usually we put them in Excel files, in Word documents, in PDFs, in emails. We put them in the email, we send them, or we put it on Microsoft SharePoint or whichever tool you're using. But most of this data are stored in small files. And the issue with such files, especially if it's like a PDF or an email, is that it's basically a dead data sheet, because it's very difficult to really get this data and put them just as an easy thing into an Excel sheet again, especially if there is text involved. And what we also observe is that data is often treated as a one-time occurrence from individual building projects. So next to having the data in a very unstructured way, the data are often never looked again after. And there is a study from BDO, and they say that nearly 95% of the data are actually thrown away. So they're not even stored, but they're like thrown away. And what we have been exploring in the DigiBuild project is the integration of data in one platform. There is, of course, there will be many other options to structure your data and to use your data. We have been looking at this option, which is integrating data in one platform. What does that mean? That means that all the data you produce needs to be packed up and put into reusable patterns. That sounds very technical right now. I think I always like to think about it as a smoothie maker, like where you do juices. You have lots of vegetables and fruits and maybe some nuts, and they're stored in different parts of your kitchen. And in the end, you put everything into your smoothie maker, and then in the end, it will be one thing. So that's kind of what the data platform is doing, data integration platform is doing. It has some benefits to it. It says that it can increase the efficiency of internal processes because data is quickly shared. It improves the quality of relationship with collaborators. It can give organizations more control of the data, and it can use machine learning and artificial intelligence and with the structured data, you can use machine learning and artificial intelligence systems. I will detail on these points during my next slides. What's the core to using a data integration platform? The data needs to be freed up. So that means that you can basically get this picture in your head where you unlock all of the files so that the data can flow out of the files and out of the systems. Most important is that they go outside the systems that they're currently produced in, let's say SAP or BIM. So what needs to be done is that data need to be freed and released from the individual files and systems, and they need to be structured and merged so that reusable patterns can occur in one digital place. And as I said, a data integration platform helps you with that. A data integration platform is, in very simple words, it's a data hub. It collects, connects, and shares data. In fact, it's a very technical thing. It's also a bit complex in how it is developed. But I think just understanding the logic of it, it's basically something where you can put all of your data and everything will be stored there and connected. So it would connect all the data you have in different files. So if you have data in SAP, maybe on prices of a material, and you have other data in your BIM on how much material you need, and then the data integration platform could maybe connect these different types of data. Yeah, but as I told you before, it's not as easy as it sounds. I think it sounds like, wow, cool, that's an easy thing to do, but it's not. There's also some challenges and benefits involved, and I'm trying to talk about them from a management perspective. So why data integration platforms are key for organizing a fully digital construction process? I think that's first of all very important to understand. So it helps you with an efficient data flow in projects and among partners. Meaning that currently you might send emails, or you might be on the phone, or maybe you have different other ways of sharing data. But when you have stored all of your data in one place, you can more efficiently share your data. There's also a systematic transfer of knowledge and experience from project to project, because what happens in construction is that often projects are treated as very singular, one-time occurrence to-dos or tasks or projects, but actually projects have many similarities next to each other. And in order to use especially things like machine learning and artificial intelligence, it needs a lot of data. And that also means that data need to be merged across projects, like across different construction projects, which also means that there needs to be some standardization in data. And as I said, first of all, freeing up the data, structuring the data, connecting them in one platform also helps you. Sorry, somebody unmuted me. Was that on purpose? Muted me? Okay. But what you need for this is past data. So you can only use all the new technologies which build on machine learning and artificial intelligence if you have a huge past database that is structured. Sorry. So what are the difficulties? First of all, what are the difficulties to integrate such a data integration platform in the construction industry? First of all, there's, like in every industry, there are specific norms and cultures. But one that is very specific to construction is that there is competition and collaboration at the same time. So at some point you need to collaborate in projects, in the next one you're competitors. Still, every company is a company for itself. So you need to compete with all the others, but you also need to collaborate. But if you want to share and use data in an efficient way, you need to get more focus on the collaboration side. which is of course difficult because then they're also your competitors. Then of course, because it's construction industry, your core competencies are in the design and construction of and building of buildings. But if you want to use digital tools, new technologies, things like data integration platforms or other platforms, there's a huge need for also developing core knowledge about technology. So getting more into what is the tech industry doing, and also increasing competencies and abilities on the technological sides. Because what we also observe is using all of these new intelligent technologies is not just like employing, buying a new software, installing it, learning about it for 1 or 2 days, and then just using it. It actually demands people and companies to learn a lot about how does the technology work and how does it develop. And also there might be some regulations and standards that can make it difficult for data to be shared, to be standardized, or to be merged. So these are the difficulties. But personally, I think all of them can at some point be dealt with. And also at the current point in time, you can still use data integration, maybe not to the 1000% extent, because you still might need to work on some of these issues, but I think you can use it with great benefit already. So what are some more challenges? There is some typical things that we hear a lot. One is using and coordinating a new technology system can be time consuming. It also increases complexity. Furthermore, how is data ownership handled, and does it increase dependency? So what we hear a lot is, okay, then it's another system. It's a new software again. We're already having so many softwares. Now we're having a new one. Will it make everything more complex? And who has the data then? Because I guess all of you follow the media a lot. If you look at Facebook and Google, there is a lot of uncertainty about how data is handled. So first of all, the data integration platform, yes, it's a new system that you use, but it's more of a meta system because it acts across all the other systems and software that you integrate in the platform, and it acts as a connector between all of the systems. What it also does is it continuously loads, structures, and merges data into one platform, which also helps you. It gives you an additional file or space where all of your data is stored, which also helps you to get more independent of all the other systems. Like, for example, CAT, which has all the data stored that you use, you use in the planning part. All the data are also stored in a different platform then. And with regards to data ownership, the companies we have been talking to, they say it's a topic up for negotiation. And it's also a topic on how the platform or data integration platform is set up. But so far, at least from the data integration platform companies, they don't see issues with data ownership if you negotiate for it in a good way. Another challenge we heard about is it is difficult to engage people in the use of data integration as they fear losing their jobs. Yes, so what data integration platforms do is they automatize many things that people are now doing manually. So for example, if somebody, a subcontractor, asks for a specific detail about the material that needs to be delivered, an employee of the other company maybe needs to look it up in a catalog, in an Excel sheet, needs to put it together, write it in an email and send the information. Or maybe the people are on the phone. What's helpful if the data is structured in one place is that you can automatize such requests so that the employee doesn't need to look everything up and write an email, but just needs to search for the information, click on a button, and then it's sent automatically. Which I think sounds really nice, but still the one topic is in organizations that employees and managers tend to hack their data, meaning that if you have some data available, it's also a powerful source for you, because It legitimizes your job. It gives you power for your tasks. People need to ask you about it, and you can decide on which data do you provide, how do you provide them, whom do you give it to. But this also leads to the sharing of maybe mistaken data, delays, so it might take longer, and it can also decrease the quality of a collaboration if somebody has to wait maybe a week. So what we could see in the data integration platform is that it actually has more benefits than maybe downsides. It can increase the efficiency of how people share data, and it can improve the data quality and the collaboration. So yes, maybe some employees might use the power that they have over some data, but to the same extent, it gives them more time to do other things, to do maybe more relevant things, to maybe analyze the data, because that's also a huge part in it. The one part is sharing the data, which can be automatized, sorry. But also one important part is if you have a lot of data, you can also analyze them and make predictions from the past to the future. And people might have more time for this. And for companies, one huge benefit with regards to this topic is that they can gain better control of the data flow. So you can actually set who sees which data and who can act with which data. So it gets very transparent about who owns and shares data. What we also see is that there might be some changes. Maybe the KPIs for the company or the employees might change, because as I told you before, the task might change, how they use their time might change. And also maybe that includes some modifying of job roles, because maybe a person is not anymore responsible only for sharing information, but now also for analyzing data. And what's really important is that employees and managers need to have a lot of education and training in how to handle data, how to handle systems, and how to use the data and analyze them. And one point is, if we open our data box, other actors in the industry can access our internal information. Maybe we lose competitive advantage if we share this information. The background to this quote is that if you use data collaboration platforms and you share data via the platform, or you automatize sharing the data, there might be a fear that then the other actors can see your data. Yes, that's true. But what you always need to think of is most data is shared anyways already, but in an unstructured way. As I told you before, there's Excel sheets, there's PDFs, there's emails, a lot of printouts, telephone. So basically somebody could do the work and structure all the data from the PDFs and emails and Word documents and everything that you share anyways. And also sharing of unstructured data usually does not improve collaborations. So maybe think about each time that you were annoyed because somebody didn't send you the data or the information on time, or they were of poor quality, or something was missing. Which brings me already to the end of my presentation. So in a nutshell, a data integration platform is one step on the way to a digital construction process, meaning there is many things to do to get more digital. One of them is structuring your data and using them. So you can do it with data integration platforms, and there is 4 points to it, which I thought are of a great advantage. It's about improve efficiency by automating requests for data-based information, control how and where data is flowing, improve processes in speed and quality, especially also for not the processes, but also the collaborations connected to it within the firm, but also with subcontractors or partner firms. And gain control over your data, meaning that you have stored all of your data in one place and it's continuously loading into the platform. As I told you before, this presentation builds on a blog article which is posted on book.no. Yes, I don't know how it works. Either you ask questions now and I will try to answer them, or you can also write me an email, renate.kratochvil@bi.no, or you can find me on LinkedIn. Please connect with me. I've seen that some of you have already done that. I've received some requests already during the last days, so thank you for this. And just connect with me, or also connect with Ragnhild if you want to connect with us.
We have one question from Martin Schreck. Please go ahead, Martin.
Yes, hello, good morning. A very interesting presentation. What kind of software we are talking about? What is there? Who delivers this? What kind of system are we talking about here that can do this work? Yeah, is there any developer or you could point out, or a software that actually would fulfill this criteria that could be used?
Yes, I expected this question to come. I put on purpose, I didn't put any company on the slides because I actually didn't want to make it sound like an advertisement presentation, but just more informing people about challenges and benefits. So if you look at the book.no article, one of the authors who fed me with a lot of information, next to all the information I gathered in the DigiBuild project, is from Sesam. It's a small Norwegian company. They have developed such a platform, and they're currently using it a lot in the healthcare sector, for example. But then there's also lots of other companies, like also the big companies are offering this kind of platforms, but all the companies offer them in very different ways. So that's also a huge challenge, to get to know all the different providers and see what you need and what they offer to you. Yeah. I hope that answered your question a little bit.
Yes, thank you very much. I will read the article.
Thank you. There is another person, David Fürstenberg. You have also, there's a lot of German names. Are you actually Germans?
Yes,
actually Austrian.
Oh, hello, I'm Austrian too.
Yeah, hi. I was wondering, as you mentioned, construction industry, and the concept that you presented, for me, reminded me very much of the common data environment concept, like it's used in the ISO 19650 standard. Were you investigating this as well, or is it based on that? Because you didn't mention it in your presentation.
Yeah, I didn't mention the technical parts on purpose. I'm myself not a technical person. Yes, so one challenge with using and structuring data is definitely that there is standards missing. But as far as I understood, there is some initiatives going on about more standardization in the construction industry. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
I was just wondering if you were building on this concept, or if you were aware of it, or.
I have heard about it.
Yeah. Because I'm a PhD candidate and I'm looking into information management and digitalization, so I'm very interested in this topic, of course.
Yes, I think it's a very interesting topic, and maybe we can have a discussion afterwards or at some other point.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, as I said before, I tried to focus mainly on the management parts, like employees might fear that they lose their jobs because now data sharing is automatized, or companies might not see the benefit because they think it increases more of the complexity. So I try to focus more on this part here to show what challenges it brings, because I think it sounds very easy, like, oh, let's use one platform and store all of our data there. But in fact, it's there's also a lot of challenges involved with it.
Yes. Do we have any other questions?
I think I was talking for very long.
No, it was great, and it was very interesting. And also we had a comment that people were sorry that they had to leave, but it was very interesting. So thank you for that. Okay, but then I think everyone see Renate's contact information on this page, and we will put this webinar online later this afternoon. So then I will stop the recording and say thank you for participating. And thank you to you, Renate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.